Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, if you have a breakup story, send it in. Send in your breakup story because I will be doing public YouTube video responses today, tomorrow, and the next day. And so if you want to get my take on it, go ahead and send it into writemac.com. Now, we got an interesting topic. I think this is one that comes up a lot. Why doesn't my ex care? Why don't they miss me? It's something I've talked about before, actually. So this isn't a news flash on the 500 videos I have on the channel, but I thought I'd retouch on it. And every live stream is a little bit different. Maybe you guys can give me some feedback. But the honest answer to that is, how do you know they don't care? How do you know your ex doesn't give a shit, right? Oh, what's going on, bud? Chris, you just made a donation yesterday. I was just going to ask, you want to send in your story? Because I don't think I've gotten your story. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll come back to that in about 10 minutes. Chris, great name, Chris Jelly. Is that how you pronounce that? Why doesn't my ex care, and why don't they miss me? So I'm going to get into this for about 10 minutes. Please put in anything in the comments on the side here. If you're watching this video after the fact, let me know if you have a situation where you thought maybe your ex didn't miss you and you read the whole situation wrong. So why doesn't my ex care to call me? Why aren't they hurting like I am? Do they even miss me? A lot of times when people start getting into this narrative, well, they never even cared about me. Highly dramatic, not true most of the time. If you were together for 2, 3, 4 years, they care. They're just not showing it. And the honest truth about all this is, you're two different people, and you know that about your ex. And that's probably one of the reasons why you were attracted to them, because usually you're not attracted to people that are identical to your personality, right? And so what you really have to think about is the way you convey your feelings and show your feelings out of a breakup is going to be different than your ex. And you know that, by the way. I know when I went through a bad breakup or a couple breakups, being someone that reads people pretty well, I can ask myself the question, are they going to come back? Are we going to get back together? This, that, and the other. But deep, deep down, I'm probably the greatest judge of that, because I've been in the trenches with them for the last year, 2 years, 3 years. I know their personality a lot better than anyone that I asked the question to. And so one of the breakups I came out of, I knew deep down, my ex was a stubborn person that, and not in a bad way, hard worker, 110% at everything they did. And if they made a decision, they weren't going to go back on it, in a week or 2 weeks. And so I knew that deep down. I knew that any reconciliation wasn't going to happen anytime soon, because she just wasn't that kind of a person. It wasn't personal. I didn't like it, but I knew it's nothing, no game, or something's going to work in the next month and we're just going to talk, because I knew someone like that makes a decision, they're going to stick to it. So one of the answers I would say is, first of all, really think about how you know your ex to be as an individual. And then if you're asking yourself, why aren't they hurting like I am? How do you know? How are you assuming that? They might not be calling you, but the reality is they're trying to go into no contact. They're trying to stick to their decision. And they probably have moments, I would say most likely, if your relationship was good to a certain point, that they do miss you, that they do care about you, and they do think to themselves, what did I do? But that doesn't mean they call you. Do they even miss you? I would say 90% of relationships, unless someone left you for someone else, or it was a horrible relationship for the last 3, 4, 5 years, most of the time they will miss you. Even if the relationship wasn't good, there's going to be a moment or two. There are people. So I wrote, first of all, you are two different people that handle grief different, that handle problems different, that handle breakups different. You know that, right? There are people that are stubborn. There are those people that are closed off with their feelings. There are those people that once they make a decision, they're done. You know those people. There are those that refuse to give in. This could be stubbornness, but it's a little deeper than that. There are those that just are scared to call. They're scared to pour out their feelings. They're scared to get rejected. These are all different things. And there's more than that kind of type of person in a breakup, which involves them not calling you, not being able to talk to you. And doesn't necessarily have anything to do with not caring about you. It's how they handle things when there's a tough problem or grief or a breakup. And they might have been through 3 breakups and this is your first, or they might have been through 5 breakups and this is your third. And so you have a playbook you're running on. Well, this is what usually happens in a breakup. Nah, not really, because everyone's a little bit different. The breakup has 2 sides with 2 stories. That's why it's so important when you watch my channel and you see how these people write their stories. And sometimes you're like, oh, this is a bad relationship. If you got the other side of the story, I'm sure it would be different, myself included, because the way I see things, the lens I'm looking at, the filters I use, they're different because I'm a different human being with different life experiences that produce a different outlook. So when you have these 2 stories, that's why we have couples counselors. And you go to a marriage counselor or a couple counselor, and I've talked to people that have done it before, and that comes down to, as simplistic as this sounds, sometimes you get a marriage counselor and they're just not good for you. They take sides, not all the time. And then there's other times it was outstanding. There's a guy I know that it basically sparked him getting a divorce. He was in marriage counseling. They had been married, I think, 10 years. And the marriage counselor asked a few different questions, this and that, and then asked the wife, are you 100% into this relationship? She goes, no. Right there, it was like, whoa. And then she goes, well, how long has this been that you've been not 100% in? She said, years. And then he looked at the guy, he goes, do you want to be in a relationship or a marriage, for say, that where the other person is not 100% in and hasn't been for years? And he goes, no. Divorce, done, clarity. I'd add to that, there's also another side of the story. Maybe your mom has been watching it from the sidelines. Maybe your best friend has been watching it from the sidelines, and they have a different viewpoint too. So that's why you need to just get really clear on your side of the story. Get it to myself. Get your story into writemac.com. Get it to another breakup coach. Go to a counselor and talk about it, because you need to unpack how you're looking at things and not assume that the other person is wrong or the other person is not feeling the feelings you have, because they could be feeling things, but they just show it differently. Does that make sense? We all see the world through different lenses, right? There's an old story I read in a book a long time ago, and the guy's looking at a PowerPoint, and there's a young guy in the office that's doing this PowerPoint presentation, and he starts out, and the guy goes to himself, he's an exec at the company, he goes, God, is anyone going to tell this guy that this thing's totally blurry and you can't even read the writing? What an embarrassing PowerPoint. I mean, I don't want to embarrass this guy, but I mean, he's showing this PowerPoint presentation. He's taking a lot of time to do it. And the reality is no one can fucking read the thing. And he's telling himself this, So he finally goes to a colleague. He goes, is anyone going to tell this guy about the blurriness on this PowerPoint? Is it just me? And the guy looks at him and he goes, I can read it just fine, John. I think you need to get glasses. Do you understand that? The guy thought he was seeing the thing crystal clear, and that was the PowerPoint presentation. The reality was he needed glasses. So the other thing is, during the breakup, right, at the end, things are said in those 48 hours or that 1 week or 2 weeks. Darts are thrown, shots are fired, whatever you want to call it. And people can cling to one thing that you said, and you didn't even mean it as a hurtful thing. You just threw it in as, a little extra sauce on top of your reasons. The reality is sometimes the other person's looking for why, and so you just throw little things in there, but you don't really want to say 100% why. There was someone I knew that had a long distance relationship breakup. They met someone else. They weren't sleeping with the other person, but they were already starting to see the other person. And when they broke up with their ex, they said something about the flight being really expensive, to go see them. And the ex was pissed. I can't believe that would be the issue, that you broke up with me over the flight cost. And it wasn't the issue. He was just giving her another reason. But the reality was he didn't really want to say, well, I met this other person, because he didn't do anything wrong yet, but his intention was to eventually. And so his ex totally mistook that he broke up with her because of expensive flights. When he broke it down to me. He goes, it was part of it. He goes, I couldn't pay for those flights currently for the next year, and I had to do less and less of them. It was part of it, but it wasn't 100% of the reason. And she just took it as, that's why I broke up. You see how things can be taken out of context? And sometimes the full story wasn't shared. Actually, a lot of times. And sometimes you don't want to know the full story. And sometimes it doesn't fucking matter a year or 2 years later, because if you're broken up, you're broken up, right? Your clarity is key. And that's why you need to get really clear on what your story is moving forward, because what's going to serve you and what's not going to serve you. And you got to keep the part that is going to serve you. If you are upset or wondering how they aren't hurting as much as I am, what's your evidence that they aren't? This is a really good question. You might sit there and go, oh, well, I saw them in a picture and they were on a roller coaster at Disneyland and they looked like they were having so much fun and they went out with some girl from work. Well, actually, it was their whole work, but he was sitting with it. You know, it's like, what? That's digging. That's non-factual. That's leading. That's a puzzle piece to a puzzle with 1,000 pieces. And so you really have to ask yourself, do I really even have evidence that they don't care? Right? Is this serving me in any way? You know them best. What do you really think they are feeling knowing them? I remember coming out of a breakup. I said, I know she cares about me. I know that we're broken up, and our circumstances, it was an ultimatum that I gave, and we got out of it. And I knew she was going to stick to her guns. I knew she's pretty stubborn, and I could go talk to my friends about it. I could go, friends would say, do this, do that. But I knew deep down who she was, what she was feeling, where she was headed at that moment. You know more than you're leading on to. What gets you in trouble is when you try to create narratives that have better endings that aren't real. The alternative is to ask them, then what? So your alternative is go, all right, we've been broken up 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I've been in this no contact thing. They haven't even called me yet. They don't even seem to give a shit. I'm going to call them up and ask them, what's going on? Why haven't you called me? Why aren't you fighting for the relationship? This is everyone's favorite term. Go ahead and do that. I don't have a problem with it. Just be prepared to come back down to ground zero when you first broke up, start crying, start to feel like shit. Because if you don't get the answer you wanted, if you don't get them, telling you how much they love and care about you and they want to get back together, and even then, do you want to get back with them? Now, that being said, if you go back and you ask them the question, you go, I'm just having trouble here. I don't understand why you haven't called me yet. And they go, well, I don't know what to tell you. I'm done. I've had enough. Where's that going to put you from 2 weeks ago when you first broke up? Ground zero, same place you started at. It's not going to make you feel better. Top 10 ways to combat wondering why they don't care so much. And when you say wondering is, it's an opinion based on, worryful thinking. Basically, you're just wondering, why are they like that? You have no idea. Number 1, stay busy with active exercise, walking, jumping, biking, swimming. Get the hell out of the house. Get active. You don't need to do something that's a marathon. You don't need to lift 3,000 pounds. You don't need to be a boxing machine or something like that. Just go out and walk somewhere. Go to the park, walk your dog. Go to the mountain nearby your house and go for a hike in nature. If you can involve nature, that would be outstanding. Number 2, talk to a therapist or a coach once a week. I've recently had this more and more where people buy a 3-hour or 5-hour package. They're not on my website, but when you're really in the thick of this first month and you're really having trouble with the idea that they don't care about you, it's really nice to talk to someone that does care about your story, that does care about your breakup, and really just unleash all the shit that's going through your mind, rather than go to a friend or family member that really could care less or gives you bad feedback. If you can talk to someone once a week for a month, this will really help you get through that rough patch. Number 3, get out of the house. Go to a place for you peace. I've talked about this before. I'm sorry if it's redundant for some people that watch the channel, but it's absolutely true. I used to go to libraries and cafes, listen to music, libraries. I would even step into a church, Catholic church here and there, and just sit. And I'm not talking about Sunday mass. I would just go there during the day when it's really quiet for peace. Number 4, if you have to interact with them, ask yourself, what is it you want from them? What's your intention? And get really clear on that and simple. Number 5, read some good books on relationships, attraction, and self-improvement. Right now you're spun. Right now you're wondering. Right now you're wondering what happened. Why not double down and get some backup knowledge so that if this comes up again, this relationship is revisited, or in the future you meet someone new, you got some more knowledge backed up. 6, stay away from toxic friends or family members that make you feel bad about yourself, that are drunks, that are just negative people. Stay away, because they're just going to make things worse. Number 7, don't seek too many opinions. Stick with ones that help you. So I have plenty of times where people come to me, they do a live coaching session, it goes really well, they're really happy with it, they actually sign up for more coaching sessions later on. And then they go, oh, I talked to another coach. I go, I have no problem with that. Go ahead, get a second opinion, get a third opinion. If you're going to talk to another therapist or another coach, what I would say, though, is to talk to like 10 or 15 different friends or family members. That's going to have you spun. That's going to have you more worried. That's going to have you wondering. And you're just going in too many different directions. So if you like someone that's a coach or a therapist, go to them, stick with them, and dial in with them. If you have a family member that's really supportive and really makes you feel well after you talk to them, is not full of shit, or is not just giving you some biased opinion, then talk to them. But don't go to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, because it's not going to help you. Okay. I've had so many times where people go, actually, I talked to another coach. I said, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. It's fine. How did it work out? Yeah, it was pretty good. I like you better, though. I said, well, thanks. I don't know if you're just telling me that because you're talking to me, but whoever you decide, if you talk to 3 different people and you like one person, buy a coaching package for 3 hours or 5 hours. I've done that with people many times, and it really helps them, because what ends up happening is 3 weeks go by and they go, you know what? I need to talk again. You're better off just going, you know what? I'll pay for 4 weeks right now and talk once a week. It really helps you out. Spend more time with family. I realize that not everyone has the greatest relationship with their family. Family are good friends. Number 9, take a break from work for a couple of days. If it's possible, maybe you can't take a vacation, take 2 days off and just go for a drive somewhere. Go out in nature somewhere, go drive to a river, get a hotel room, get some quiet. And then number 10, journal. Get all your thoughts out in paper and out of your head. If you're going to be alone during these times, even if this stuff doesn't make sense, even if you're repeating yourself, get it out of your head. Okay, so we got a lot of people on deck today. 26 fucking people. Jeez, this is outstanding. So Chris Jelly, Mary, how you doing, hon? I hope you're well. Kyle Reynolds, always a pleasure. One-legged Sandra Pereira, welcome to the show. I don't know if you've been on before, but if you have a question, I usually talk about this for a little while, the topic, but if you have a different topic you want to talk about or a different question, that's absolutely okay. If they rejected you, they probably fear rejection. If they reach out, fear that you're still angry. That's probably true in your case. Usually the example you give is the example of your own case. That's possible, Brian Union. It's certainly one of the common ones. Matt A., hope you're well, buddy. I applaud you for 30 days of straight streaming, Matt. Keep up the grind. Life goals. You're from Cali, right? I think. Why don't you share your life goals with us? Luna Martinez, Mr. Martinez. Excuse me, Mr. Martinez. No contact, stalemate, but bumping into each other randomly one day starts it all again. Crazy thought. I mean, it can. There's some people that go, oh, I keep running into my ex and I don't know what to do. If you feel extremely awkward and uncomfortable, I don't know if it's the best situation to be in. I don't know if you're ready to run into each other without being weak, needy, and awkward. In that particular case, you can't avoid the individual. One of the best stories I've heard is a guy I did 2 live coachings with. He was in his late 20s, confident guy, great career, prestigious job. And he was spun, because this is the thing about people that are highly successful, good looking, have a lot of things going for them, or have money. Breakups actually hurt them harder, because they're like, I'm fucking bulletproof. Why would they ever want to leave me? I mean, do they know what they're missing out on? They have a lot of trouble. With the idea that you left me with all the shit I got going for me. And it really messes them up. And some of those people are they have the most trouble getting over it. So this guy was out on a date. I talked about this before. He was out on a date. It was 3 or 4 months later. He said the date he was with was hot. which everyone always says that. So who knows if it's true or not, right? He said she was good looking, hot, whatever. He goes to a restaurant. The table next to him is his ex with one of her best friends. He feels extremely awkward and uncomfortable. I'm like, best case scenario, though, you're out on a date and you're doing your thing. So he said, I didn't know what to do. She's in the table next to me. He said hello to her. He talked to her for 5 minutes. Still felt a little bit awkward, but he said he kept his neutrality. He said he felt all right, but he did tell the girl he was with, you know what, I do want to go to another restaurant. He said because it was so uncomfortable to be the table next door to her, and they hadn't ordered yet. I didn't have a problem with that. I didn't think that was weak. I thought that was taking the bull by the horns and going, wait a minute, I'm still gonna. And he goes, I went and had a good date. I hooked up with that date, but then after the date, all he was thinking about is she gonna call me? Is she gonna call me? So you handle those situations when you run into your ex and you feel those feelings. If you don't feel comfortable, you should end the conversation earlier rather than have it drag on and you look weak, needy, and uncomfortable. Tommy Willis, I hope you're well, bud. Private first class. No, Sergeant first class. I'm sorry. That's strange. I definitely followed the My Story links and sent it in. All right, I'll send you an email today, Chris. I'll check on that. I'll check on that because I don't think I saw the story come in. Email after the live stream, Chris. Hi, Mac and friends. G Money's on deck. Need to take a shower. Be right back. Well, thanks for that update, bud. Maybe you want to try some of that tactical soap that Masculine Energy has. That statement is true. I can tell my ex misses me, or at least the thought of us. The tweets is clarity. She retweeted, even though we don't speak, I still love you if something happened to you. Well, that's kind. That's nice. I wouldn't know what to do. Have you ever done a session with a couple, Mac? No, Kyle, actually, I haven't. Someone asked me that actually recently. I'm like, no, I don't do it. I don't think I'd be opposed, but thinking about it right now, I've never thought about this, but when the person asked me, she goes, oh, will you do couples? And I said, you know what? The interesting thing, especially being someone that's on YouTube or a coach, some people have problems with that label. And I don't blame them because there's a lot of goofballs out there, right? And so the beauty of YouTube, the beauty of what I do is I have 500 videos up. So you can choose me based on my content, based on my style, my personality. And you go, oh, all right. I don't know what it is. People will be like, I don't know what it is, but I just like your style. You're honest or this or that. Well, if you bring your partner in, they didn't choose me. And they already have an idea like, who's this fucking guy on YouTube? He thinks he's a fucking coach. There's just little negative shit, you know? And so to bring someone else into that, they would probably have to come to the joint idea like, oh, well, let me take a look at his videos. Let me see if I agree. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but that would be the hurdle, is that you're saying, oh, I really like this guy, especially if it's a woman and it's a guy. Sometimes guys are threatened by the idea, well, who's this fucking guy talking about me? Whereas if you go to a therapist, something like that, people are more prepared for it. That being said, the people that I've talked to that do couples therapy, sometimes they really don't like it because they feel like someone takes sides. They feel like they're being ambushed. And so they really like talking to someone one-on-one. Like you said, it's still not enough for her to want me back. If your ex walks from you, she's knowing that you love her. It's painful, but at the end of it feels better. There's a sense of pure happiness being by yourself for a while. Once you start embracing being single, I think that there is a point where you'll be like, actually, I'm okay. Actually, being single is a good thing. Actually, the relationship wasn't that great. Actually, there was a lot of problems. And that is a good feeling when you're comfortable with yourself. It's hard at first, though. I'll tell you that much. I guess we will never know if they miss us. I don't think anyone can get in the mind of another. Personally, I think your experience of the relationship might be totally different from theirs. Great point, Monica. I agree 100%. That's why I preach. Let me hear your story because it's different. And your friend's version of the story. Oh, I've known Monica for 15 years. I know exactly what happened. Do you? Everyone's got their own filter. Yeah, I don't think my ex gave me the full story, but like you said, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Yeah, because that's just saying who they are. They're saying sometimes there's something in that story that they don't want to share because they think they're going to hurt your feelings, that you're not going to understand, that's just going to make it worse. That's the loss of attraction then cause they were feeling to pay for the flights before. Reasons usually indicate loss of attraction. Yeah, it's one of those things. If someone says that and they go, "Oh, the flights were getting expensive," it's not the reason you broke up. It's just a little extra sauce on top, a little layer, but it's not the defining reason. And then someone's, "I can't believe you said that. I can't believe that that's what you really think happened." No, it was one of the extra things. Every time I think about does she, I have an immediate sense of Mac, doom loom over me, remind myself thinking of this doesn't serve me. Big part of why I recommend your live coaching. Thanks, bud. I appreciate that, Kyle. We had a good session, bud. We had a really good session, I think. And part of it is because you chose me based on the content. So before we even talked, you went, "I really like the advice you give." And so you're going to be more receptive. I'll get, "Does this serve you?" under my, "Where's your power?" It's really good comments to come back to. I do it in my own life. Like, how is this serving you? Right? Greetings from Rob IS. All right, we got the whole crew on today, and I thought I was starting late. Fun schwa. Hey, coach and friends, the girls on deck. What's up, Rob? As a man, your natural instinct is to seem masculine during tough times. I think probably a majority of men want to seem or appear more tough. The funny thing is, I've had friends that are highly masculine, and when the breakup comes, they're whimpering, they're crying, they're begging, they're pleading, and so everyone's got two sides to the coin. Everyone, like they say, everyone has a dark side. Everyone has a soft side too, I think. But hear me out when I say that crying the breakup is okay. I help me get some emotions off my chest. Um, I agree. I agree. I had a student years ago, a public speaking course I was in. It wasn't a breakup. His mom passed away of cancer, and he gave this speech about it, and it gave me shivers down my spine. And he said all these people were giving him advice. You know, his mom had a business. His mom had a small business, and the business wasn't doing well, obviously, because she was battling cancer. And he wanted to take it over and keep the business and whatnot. And so he said, you know, people are pulling him to the side, you know, during the weeks and going, "Hey, you better sell your mom's business. Hey, you better get out of this. Hey, you doing okay?" And he said the whole time, you know, he's keeping a strong frame. And he's, you know, he's one of those kids. He went to the gym a lot, and he was popular and things like that. So he had a lot of confidence. And he said, finally, it's even sad thinking about this because I remember the speech. He said, finally, I just went in my room, and he goes, I just started crying my eyes out alone after seeing all these people going to the funeral. In Thailand, they have like a Buddhist funeral, which is a cremation at a temple. But he said when that finished, he went home and just cried in his room. Your connection is unstable. Please wait while we try reconnecting. So I'll wait a moment. Okay, I'm back. It said that we had a pause there. It was touching though, because I thought to myself, wow, that is the way to cry, to let it all out. And maybe in your own breakup, if you're in a situation, maybe you're, you know, talking to yourself a little bit in that room and crying and maybe journaling or doing something. But I think if you get the I'm not saying to be embarrassed that you're crying, but to get a really good cry where you get everything out, it might be best to be in private. Walks and drives around town help me as well. That was something I did. I would just go find a library. I would go find a quiet place that was peaceful. Really helped me out. Criticizing for someone for not caring enough sounds like criticizing, nagging and blaming. Take more time away, inspire. Don't blame. Good message. Or assume. Don't assume that they don't care. The reality is you're broken up and they just probably don't know how to contact you with if you don't want to be friends. Music relating to my situation helped as well. What's up, Robert? Hope you're well, bud. I haven't been on for a while. Well, maybe no news is good news. Which music? Rob asked. Luna, you got some music that you really like. Mac, you care. You are personalized with your group. Well, thank you, Judy Jack. I think you're the same. Good people. Good people attract good people, I hope, right? Specific songs that uplift me that I know the lyrics. I listen to a lot. Linkin Park, Angels and Airwaves, A Day to Remember. I have specific song names as well. You really want to check them out. Oh, you did the journal too? I mean, I'm not consistent with the journal currently. I'm not consistent with the journal currently, but I do write things out regularly, but when you're in a breakup, just to get that shit out of your head, shit, I was writing pages and pages and pages on repeat. Really helped me. My first time, hi coach, Fadila Posi. Well, let me know if you have any questions. The forum's open. The live stream's open for questions, so I know them well. I wonder if no contact actually makes the ex have those same questions. Do they even care? I think a majority time, yes. Especially if you had a really good relationship, especially if you're the type of person that was, and this might sound crazy, but if you were needy and weak at the end and then you go no contact, people are like, what the fuck happened? I wasn't expecting this. I got the confirmation email that my story was sent in. Hopefully it didn't get lost in the sauce. Like I said, Chris, I will check after the live stream and I will follow up with an email, bud. And we'll get to the bottom of it because I have your PayPal came in. And so I will get your email from that. Chris Jelly. What nationality is the last name Jelly? I'm just confused. I'm just curious, bud. Luna Martinez, check out the 1975. That's a song. I remember pouring my eyes out when writing in them. A tough thing to do at that moment, but it helped me get all those thoughts down on paper. I'm sure I'll read them back someday. I thought I would do the same thing because I had 2 or 3 full journals. And when I got really back on deck and I got my gusto back and I was juiced up and I was feeling good and I was going out on dates, and especially when I had a new girlfriend, I think it was like about a year and a month later, I thought I would want to go back and look at it. I looked at a couple of pages and I ended up just throwing it out. I mean, it wasn't in anger either. It's just like I had moved on. I just had moved on. I didn't have any use for it. To see my empowerment. Ernesto Farfan, how you doing, Mac? Came to drop you a like. San Diego is waiting for you, bro. Is it? Damn, that gave me chills. I do have San Diego on my mind, bro. Mission Beach. I used to live in Mission Beach and PB, Grand Avenue. That was my first studio apartment. You guys want to hear a funny story about that? Nah, I'll tell you guys later in a different one. We got a lot of people to answer here. That studio apartment, that was a funny one. I basically lived in a ghetto Melrose place is what it was, with the pool in the middle and 18 units around it. God, that was a mixed bag of people there. Beach towns, there's people that move from all over to live by the beach. Brian has a good point. Fear being rejected or meet anger. Absolutely. Sorry, saying that the connection's unstable. Let me know out there if that's true, because I just pause when that comes up and I stop talking for a moment. Know out there if that's true, because I just pause when that comes up and I stop talking for a moment. Past experiences usually breed assumptions on what's coming next. Life goals. I'm from Minnesota and recently traveled to Cali to travel the coast of Cali. I brought up the point Reyes comment a while back. Okay, I remember that. That's right, Minnesota. I'm sorry, Coach. Great TV show. Kevin McHale's from Minnesota too, I think. T-Wolves. If you want to relish in your tears for evening, listen to Elliott Smith. Okay. That's so true, Mac. The idea of my ex leaving me broke my ego to the core. Me too, bro. I remember feeling like I was a confident fucker before. I wonder to this day why a catch like me could have gotten dumped the way I did. You didn't get dumped, dude. That's how you have to reframe it. I don't like the term getting dumped. Well, what else would you say? You can use a different word than getting dumped, because that's fucking negative as fuck. People that are highly confident wouldn't say they got dumped. Really unpack it and go, you know what? The breakup had to happen. That could be true, right? I mean, to say that you're dumped is extremely negative. That is true. They can't handle it all if you dare to tell them to walk away. I got early retirement goals, fitness and health goals, mental and emotional growth goals, travel goals. I'm just grinding. Well, you need to get specific on those goals. Give me your number one goal. Life goals. Share it with us. Put it on deck. Put it on the chopping block. What's your number one goal? Coach Max, since you touched on the topic of the other breakup coaches, what are some that you like or agree with mostly? To be honest with you guys, I don't watch a lot of the other ones. So a lot of times some people will mention someone, and I don't think it's fair to say someone's bad or to say someone's not good. And I haven't went to them for a breakup. because we're all different. And so you have to be the judge of who vibes with you. So a lot of times, especially on the live stream, for some reason, I get a lot of regular people. I have a smaller subscriber list, whatever. But the people I do talk to in a live coaching, they say, "Oh, I really like you because you seem honest and genuine." That's the one I get the most. That being said, I like masculine energy because he seems honest and genuine. I haven't gone to him for breakup advice, so I don't know. I think we share a similar outlook. I like Corey Wayne, not just because he's probably one of the most popular. I just like his approach. He's consistent. I like his advice. I'd say those are the two I like probably the most. And Corey Wayne, to be honest, is a life coach. He was originally supposed to give, financial advice. He gives a little bit of everything. And the same thing with Corey Wayne. He's himself for the most part, right? I think that's what stands out. Was you can kind of sense on YouTube the difference between YouTube and real TV is you can sense when someone's being real and not real, or trying too hard, or bullshitting, or coming off as a commercial. And those kinds of groups I don't really like. So I'd say those are the two. Those are the two that I would say that. And I think masculine energy, he only deals with men. I think he told me, or he said in a video. Tell me who you like, Tommy. Some of the one that's the most popular that I've seen his video, or not, excuse me, I don't want to say the most popular, but people really say is good, is Dating Guy. A lot of people like the Dating Guy and they like the love chat. So those are other ones. I'd say the Dating Guy seems like he's got his own style, and it sounds like he gives good advice. He has very good reviews. Tommy, there's a review on the love chat for breakup coaches or people doing what we do. And I'm on there and people make reviews. I might give you guys the link to it if you guys want. Guys are treated, and you guys can give a review on me, because Love Chat did a review of me that I didn't find very favorable. Guys are threatened if they think you've been talking about them to someone. They can be. I mean, that's an open statement, Judy Jack. What are you talking about? Life goals with a daily motivation. It's really what really helps with life goals or goals is to get specific and really center on one or two. When you have too many moving parts, it can get a little bit crazy. The reason why people really like university and they like school is basically university gives you a structure, it gives you a goal, and it gives you a system. So it's like buying a business. Do you understand that? Think about this. Someone will say, "Oh, I don't want to go to school. I don't have to go to." No, you don't have to go to school to be successful. I went to university. I got a college degree. I got a lot out of it. It was a high achievement for myself. I was proud of it. I don't regret it. I didn't go into debt. I worked while I was in it. But the reality is, people that are entrepreneurs that can organize and motivate themselves, they don't need school. But school, what it does, what's the system? All right, we're gonna give you a schedule. We're going to give you a cost. We're going to give you these 6 or 7 teachers. And then those teachers are going to grade you with marks so that we can measure your results. You see how this works? And then in 4 years, we'll give you this piece of paper that you can show everyone around that you actually went to school for 4 years. It's a system and a structure that you're buying into that's measured. It's the same thing that a business is. I'm really heartbroken that the Packers lost to the Eagles. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Raza. I like Aaron Rodgers. He's from Chico. My parents live up by there, so that's a town I really like. I've made peace with the fact that I haven't heard from my ex, whom I made sacrifices and compromises for more than a year. Sometimes a sacrifice and a compromise is a covert contract that's not going to work out, and you got to deal with it and move forward. Araceli Lozano, you came on yesterday and said, "Hey, Mac, you got any questions? You want to touch on anything?" Wow, I'm way behind today. We got some people on deck. 23 and 8. Throw the likes up, folks. I really appreciate it. This is fun. I've been focusing on my startup and it's been working out well. The best part is I started to have a phenomenal relationship with myself. Well, that's fucking cool. Good for you. Do you want to share what your startup's about? Just curious. Sometimes you just need that release. I cry in the shower because when I won't feel the tears burn my face. Wow, that's deep. Shout out to G Money. Show me the money. Healing Heart, what's going on, bud? How you been? Bali's finest. How's the surf, buddy? It's been beautiful out here in Phuket. If you were to go through another big breakup in the next few years, Healing Heart actually has another channel if you want to check it out. Tommy Willis. He's got a good take. He's got a lot of life experience. If you were to go through another big breakup in the next few years, do you think you'd be able to take a lot of your own advice or lose yourself in the moment, knowing what to do, but not applying it? Here's the interesting thing about that, Kyle. Really good question. The interesting thing to me about relationships and breakups and is they're just so intricate and have so many twists and turns that it's not just cut and dry. So short answer, I absolutely be more well equipped to deal with a breakup now than ever before in my life. That being said, if something seriously bad happened or a circumstance, hey, I would be going through it for a period of time. I'm not bulletproof. Okay. I'm not perfect with relationships. I'll be the first to tell you that. I give good advice. I'm there for people. I can break down stories. But yeah, I would be giving myself my own advice. I'd be going through it, and there would probably be a few moments, but I would much better deal with it now than before. And I would start out by writing out my story and get really clear. And basically, I would probably coach myself and ask myself the similar kind of questions I go through now. And I kind of run my life that way now. I'll dissect things in different ways. But I definitely am not one of the cream for me in my life. No, I have moments. But that being said, what I would need to know, what were the circumstances of the breakup? How severe are there's some deep shit that happens. You know, the amount of people, not that it's a lot, but there, someone loses a baby in a relationship. That's one that's deep. Someone has had an abortion in a relationship. That's one that's deep. These are things that that you don't think about breakups and those kinds of things involved. I'm just giving you some extreme things that come up. Someone's a serious drug addict in a relationship, and you're worried that if you leave them, they're gonna hurt themselves. These are things that people. These are things that people don't assume, right? Because their breakup didn't have those kind of extreme cases. That kind of stuff that comes up, it's a little bit more intricate, right? It's not so cut and dry. So we got to think about, it depends on the story and what's going on, and the recovery of that and how you're dealing with it based on the circumstances are going to change quite a bit. All right. The 1975, the band I don't even know who they are so good live. I'm not a big concert person. Saw them here a few months ago. Rob does a lot, man. This is an active dude. Saw them here a few months ago. They say words are spells, so be mindful of what music you listen to. I never really thought about it that way, but it's true. It's programming. It's programming your subconscious. Be mindful, especially if you're into manifesting and all that jazz. Yeah. Somebody else. That one's good too. They have an energy. The lyrics are deep, make me want to cry. Somebody else is probably one of the top 25 favorite songs of all time. Yeah, I don't know that song. Weird. Robert Soraka. I know I shouldn't be looking, but my ex keeps posting songs on social media and loving someone from a past relationship and missing them. I don't get it. She does this all the time. Well, she probably is feeling that song, and that's honestly what she's thinking, and she's posting it on social media. Reframe things. You don't lose, you win, or you learn from something, but you never lose. I try to think of life experience that way. It's the name of the game. It's a name that came to the British Isles with the Vikings who settled in the north of England and Scotland in the 9th century. Well, that's deep, Jelly. Mr. Jelly. Am I saying it right, dude? Or is it Jelly? Fuck that get money line. Corey Wayne is great, but unless you actually read his book, it's really hard to follow his advice because you can't force yourself to be a certain way with your ex as it'll unpack in your weak moment. Okay. If you feel that way. Kyle Reynolds, it's possible if one knows the basic rules, but what his book gets you. Yeah, Rob's a big fan of the book. Love Chat actually praised you, Mac. He made fair comments and was reserved in negative ones. People have told me that before. Reserved in negative ones. There was a few things said that bugged me. Is it okay to be hopeful during no contact? You better call Tyrone. Remember that song? Is it okay to be hopeful during no contact? Why? I'm not going to say it's not, but on the flip side, if that's why you're doing no contact, you're going to be let down. And at some point, it's going to make you feel worse. But I understand where you're coming from. You can't control not being hopeful. You're like, oh, I hope it works out. But eventually, if it's 1 month, 2 months, you start to go, you know what? It's just time to move forward. Right. But I wouldn't say it's bad. I recommend taking Mac's advice, reframing the breakup in your mind. Being dumped is a bad way to look at it, and it will get in the way of you growing from a breakup. Yeah, and I don't think that if you, I never used to say, oh, I got dumped, because I didn't look at it that way. I knew we were going to break up. We broke up pretty much like a mutual breakup in some ways, but I didn't want it, right? But on the flip side, there's all different ways you can look at it or frame it, and you don't have to use that word because it's such a negative word. I need to work on listening better because when I don't remember something important, someone tells me it makes the person feel neglected or that I don't care, but I really do care. I guess if I did, there's ways to develop your listening skills. One of the ways, Mary, is I think when you're a talker like myself or yourself, Mary, you like to talk too, which is fine, is you, instead of making your point when someone else talks, ask a question about what they said or go into talking about what they're talking about. Don't just change the topic or go into what you want to talk about. And that conveys good listening skills. Physical health and financial freedom are the two goals I'm really focusing on right now. Accumulating assists to generate passive income. I'm assuming assets is what you say is a long-term goal for me. Well, that's great. Life goals. One of the best financial books you can read that's so simple is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And all it does is just break down assets, right? Own them. I wouldn't forget, right? I guess that is selfish. Well, I mean, at least you're honest about it. It's something you can work on. I like any coach that aren't trying to push their product on you 99% of the time and who genuinely care. I get that vibe from you for sure. Yeah, there is some people that are like, well, I got this vacuum I sell. I talked a lot about my ex after the breakup when I assumed it was final. I think she got wind of some of it. Well, my physical goals are more achievable in the short term. I'm trying to cycle through cutting to 10% body fat and bulk to 15%. Getting yoked is the goal. Well, get your yokes on then, life goals. Get your yokes on. Mary, that's good that you recognize that you need to improve that. I'm the same way. I definitely don't do a good job of highlighting other people's issues, important things they have going on. I've become a better listener. I got to watch myself because what it is too. People that don't listen well in the conversation, they're thinking, oh, I got something I want to say. I got something I want to say. And then they cut you off because they think I'm going to forget what I want to say. I've been that way myself. I used to be bad about cutting people off. And that's why when you have a live stream like this, it's really nice because you get the whole floor, right? Or when you're a teacher. But when you're in breakup coaching or you're having really good conversations with friends and you just got to the situation when they're talking about something that's important to them, to really listen and to say, well, how did you feel about that? Or ask questions about the situation. They want to talk about something. I just had a 3-hour conversation yesterday with someone in person, and neither of us checked our phones once. How many people do that? Tommy, thank you for letting me know I'm the only one that's careless. You're not careless, Mary. It's just one of those things. The idea that you're aware of it is the first part. And then secondly, you can work on it. I'm trying to think of a book that How to Win Friends and Influence People is a classic, but I don't know if it teaches you how to be a better listener. I found the book redundant because a lot of those skills or ideas I already knew about. Um, but it might be a good book to check out. It's an easy read, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Thanks for the accolades, Mac. I have the smallest channel on YouTube, but I'm happy it's helping people. Only half of what I know I learned at uni. You told me that, bro. Well, I mean, if you enjoy your YouTube channel and you're helping people and you're giving out knowledge, I mean, my channel by YouTube standards is small, right? P.S. The surf's cracking and the spare room is still waiting for you. Right on, Healing Heart. Right on. Is the smoke cleared over there? Because it was pretty bad from what I understand. We actually got smoke from Indonesia, but I don't know if that was from Bali. Indonesia is a big place. I'm putting Coach Mac on my Christmas list this year. Oh, yes, that's where's your power line that I picked up in this live stream is actually pretty powerful. Well, thanks. I'm going to have to trademark that if someone else doesn't do it before me now. How do you maintain and navigate no contact when you are the same social circle and you're bound to bump into them and be close vicinity from time to time? I've had this question, and it's a good question. And I think that it's not undoable, first of all. Second of all, you have a right, if you're really hurting or feeling awkward, to take a break from that circle of friends. What you don't want to do is blame friends for taking sides, because it's a difficult place for friends to be in. Okay. But you don't want to put yourself in a situation where your friends call you up and your ex is going to be at the party that you're going to, or, get together, and you're going to go walk in there and your hands are trembling and you're really upset. You probably are going to have to tell your friends, hey, look, for a little while, just be upfront. Hey, for a little while, let's hang out, let's kick it, let's get bites to eat, but I don't want to see her for a month, or I don't want to see him for a month. It's not personal. I don't want to put you guys in the middle. Be upfront with your friends. And then when those times come up and you do bump into each other, you have to deal with those in the moment. Be short and sweet. I wouldn't say that you want to be an asshole in any way, because that doesn't serve you. But the other part is, I don't have a problem if you're really feeling hurt or you're upset based on whatever happened in your relationship, that you avoid places where you will run into them, because you don't want to put yourself in that situation. The other thing is to move somewhere new, change your life. Where has your power changed my life? That's a deep statement, Kyle. I'll take credit for that. Make sure you change your life in a good way, bud. Rob, listen to something just like this. Coldplay. Okay, here we go with the music. How you frame the story makes a huge difference. Good evening, Coach. She's a queen. How are you? It's a huge one. I mean, framing is one of those things. Sam Harris, a lot of stuff on YouTube from people that are deep into psychology and stuff like this. This comes up a lot. But there is an art to having someone help you reframe it. If you watch the stories I do on the YouTube channel that I have, which is this channel, sometimes you got to be creative about it, right? Because really, your narrative and the story you're telling yourself based on the small amount of facts, you're being creative. You just don't know it. I know that song. Finished all the books you recommended me, Mac. Do you have any other suggestions similar to Subtle Art, potentially a video? Finished all the books you recommended me, Mac. Do you have any other suggestions similar to Subtle Art, potentially a video on it soon? God, people love that book. I've actually had people go to Mark Manson has a I guess a blog, and someone's like, this Indian guy was like, sorry, Coach, I actually really like Mark Manson, and I took a break from your channel and I go to Mark Manson's. It was kind of funny, and I went, well, he's a good author. He has good stuff. I don't mind. I actually have some questions. I'll email it to you, Kyle. The guy made some questions up for Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, like a worksheet. Other books similar to the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Let me check my Audible real quick, because off the top of my head, I've been reading some different stuff recently. A book that I really liked was Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's a long title. It's a kind of a weird title. A really good book actually is How to Fail at Almost Everything by Scott Adams. That's a good book. That's actually a good book while you're in university. Check that out. It's not relationship based. But if you're in university, How to Fail at Almost Anything and Still Win Big by Scott Adams, that's a good book. Um, um, and the other one would be The Tactical Guide to Women by Sean Smith, if you already read that. Rational Male, you said you read. And Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl is a must for anyone. I've listened to Corey Wayne. He has some very solid bullet points. He's a little chauvinistic, but he also never insults women. Some male channels come across as bitter. He doesn't. Yeah, everyone always tells me that they feel he's a little bit cocky or chauvinistic. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I don't think he crosses the line. I think he's being himself. That's what I like. Where is Your Power made me pivot my thinking today. It changed my whole mood too. Fucking outstanding. Thanks for telling me that. I appreciate it. If anyone in here hasn't read it, I highly suggest it. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's a good book. It's not a long read either. He has another book I didn't think was as good, but he has a second book. You've probably seen it when it comes up on Amazon or one of these things with the F word in it also. Doesn't just apply to relationships either. I was thinking about how much I want to change physically and just simply ask myself that and realize I have the potential to actualize my goals. You know it, Mac, about what? I'm sorry, I don't know it. I don't know what I know. Oh, you know it about talking too much? I'm a talker. I can conversate for days. If there was a conversation Olympics, I'd throw my hat in the ring. I literally can keep a conversation going a long time, and it's not awkward. I'm a real estate agent, and I make cold calls. Cold call marketing sucks, but builds so much social skills. People still do cold calls. I was in real estate, and I hated cold calls. I did an internship downtown San Francisco, and I remember that was like, I really didn't like that. I didn't like it because I found it. I'm not saying this about you, life goals. I found it misleading. But it does thicken your skin. Anti-Fragile is a good book, but it does thicken your skin to be anti-fragile and deal with rejection. I'd say if you're a real estate agent, I would start a YouTube channel. I was dealing with my 5-year-old son at the time. I was like, "Where's your power?" He gets over on me all the time. He gets over on me all the time. It's a great statement, huh? I'll tell you another question. Tim Ferriss said he uses when he's going through journaling, or he's and I've started doing this. What's the simplest way to do this? So, you're talking about making $10 million or something like that as a goal, and you go, well, what would be the simplest way? And you think like you wouldn't have an idea, but when you frame a question like that, you get answers that you'd be surprised. Instead of going, oh, this is so difficult, or I'll never be able to do this. What would be the simplest way to do this? What am I overlooking? Write it down, make it happen. That's a book. Look it up. It's great to get your goals accomplished. I read a story recently where the marriage counselor started an affair with the wife of the couple that came to see him. I think, Rob, the future of counseling, it's already going to, in the next 5 to 10 years, is going to be online. Coaching, counseling, therapy, whatever you want to call it, because they're all similar, right? When I talk to people and they're able to talk from their room at a time that's convenient for them, why would you not want to do that instead of going into an office, driving 25 minutes or 30 minutes and having to go talk to the secretary, waiting in a like, and being awkward, not meeting the person for the first time? Why wouldn't you rather do FaceTime with someone like myself or someone else? I think the future of counseling is going to be that way. And it saves you from the person cheating with your wife. He was demanding she come do private sessions. Bad intentions, Rob. Bad intentions. I've been to a couple yoga classes where yoga teachers gave a little extra attention, the males, to the highly attractive women in the class. It would be like, oh, hold on, let me just give you that Let me just give you that little bit of, and I'm over here like I can't even touch my fucking feet, right? It's like, hey bud, can you help me out with with my stuff? This chick over here has been doing yoga for 4 years, and you're walking over. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. Everyone can't deny attraction, Max. Seriously, if that's your line, you need to trademark it post haste. I suppose he manipulated her in those sessions. Yeah, but it takes two to tango, Rob. It takes two to tango. She still had a choice and she still had a obligation to her partner. The smoke is probably the amount of people who smoke cigarettes. You're doing great work, but I got a lunch. Stay up, everyone. Right on, Healing Heart. I think G Money must have fallen asleep in the shower. That should be easy. One-legged pigeon. I work out 5 times a week, and I have a roommate who works at a pizza shop. He brings pizza and beer every night. Damn it. Change the 5 friends that you hang out with the most, you become the average of. That's one of those tough ones. I said that because I listened to your favorite masculine intro the other day. He reviews some coaches he liked. Some alpha guy was personally stunned. He kept referring to women as bitches. Wow. Some people talk like that. I said that because I listened to your favorite masculine energy the other day. He reviewed on some coaches. Oh, he did reviews on coaches. Okay. Some people use that term. He kept referring to women as bitches. It's not the most politically correct way to go about it, but he's masculine energy, right? One-legged pigeon. Now there's a name. I made my Instagram public, and now, lo and behold, her fake account viewed my story. How do you know she has a fake account? I know it's her following 5 people and no profile picture. She admitted to snooping around my story post in the past. I sold, oh my God, is that? Sorry, I lost my place here. I sold Kirby vacuums a long time ago, went door to door. That's social skills, Mary. I remember Kirby vacuums. That's old school. I gave some horrible advice about women. Some of those alpha guys and MGTOW guys just come across as women haters. Well, everyone has a life experience that shapes their future experiences. And the MGTOW thing, I don't get into it. If the MGTOW thing, I don't get into it. If that's someone's prerogative or that's how they want to go about it, it's all right. It's fine. Luna, look up limerence. You got to move on and stop wondering. Bad intentions. Bad intentions. That's like you have to ask yourself in those situations, do I have good intentions? I saw a music video where the yoga instructor gets mega close. Yeah. It is already. It's called telepsychotic. I think I spelled it wrong. I don't know what that is. The first million is the hardest. I'd like to make 10 million. $10 million. I'll be good. Someone said, that's not even a lot now. Well, give it to me. Luna, sounds like my first breakup, man. She just loitered around on my social media, favoriting heartbreak tweets, etc. Will's seeing someone else, and now she's married at 23 to a 30-year-old. Life goes on, my friend. Life goes on. Social media is just a different dynamic. You know, social media has only really been around for 10 or 12 years. It's only been where everyone's using it for 7 or 8 years. So it's kind of a new dynamic to relationships, but breakups, 7 or 8 years. So it's kind of a new dynamic to relationships, but breakups, any use or any covert work where you're using social media to check up on an ex and stuff like that, how does it serve you? Tell me, educate me. I don't know. I don't want to know anything about my ex when I'm broken up and I'm all in. That's my power. Because if I get little nuggets here and there, or little puzzle pieces, and then I start going, oh well, it could be this, it could be that. That's when you just lose all traction on your own life. Down with Webster, your man at the 1-0 mark. Down with Webster, your man at the 1 minute mark. The yoga guy. I don't know what that means. Yeah. Down with Webster, your man at the 1 minute mark. The yoga guy. I don't know what that means. Yeah, if you can sell a Kirby, you can sell anything, I think. Were you a good salesperson, Mary? Webster, remember the show Webster? Your man at the 1 1 minute mark, the yoga guy. I don't know what that means, Rob. I have to clarify that, bud. Wow, this hour went by quick. We had a lot of people on deck today. We had 20-something heads. This is good, guys. Ladies and guys. This is good. We have 13 on deck. It's crazy with the live stream. Sometimes I think that the weekends people are less likely to talk. It's Sunday for a lot of you. Any of the new people, welcome. Bad down with Webster's song. You're a man. Go to the 1 minute mark. Okay. Okay, I got you. Araceli Lozano, do you want to ask a question? I like social media in the sense that she's able to see I'm developing from the person she broke up with, improving mentally, losing weight, feeling great at the take the bait. Okay, Rob, you can email me. You email me anytime, bud. I mean, if you're doing well and you're not checking up on them, it is a way for them to see how well you're doing. Sure. That's true, Kyle. Kyle, the koala Reynolds. You got a koala bear picture? Any questions, folks? I got about another 10 minutes of this. Everything's waning down here. We had 26, 27 on the live stream today. It was nice, right? It was nice. Advice on no contact with kids involved. Okay, people do ask me this sometimes, and it is different and it is more difficult. I would say that you probably want to sit out and maybe mind map or journal out ideas. How can I make this more simple? What am I overlooking? I have had people tell me that they get an intermediate person, a mother-in-law or a mother or a sister, that you drop off the kids with that person in the middle, and then they give, I had a friend that did that with his mom. His mom was the intermediate, and he said, I don't want to see her anymore or anything like that. And he'd drop off his kid with the mom, and then the mom would, and they got to see the kids, whatever it was, 2 or 3 times a week each. I don't know what the visitation rights were, but that's an option. That's an option to do it that way. Long term, you're going to have to come to an agreement on how often you see the kids. So if that's in stone, where, for example, if he gets to see the kids on weekends and you have them during the week, you could certainly set it up in a situation where, unless the kids are really young, you guys don't have to interact as much. So I'd say short answer would be get someone that's an in-between. Secondly, have an adult conversation that you don't want to contact them because you're not necessarily going into no contact, but there's nothing to talk about. So for the next month, I don't have a problem. Be very clear. I don't have a problem with you seeing the kids and being involved and being a parent, but I do not want to interact with you. I'm not trying to play games with you. This is for me to move forward. Be direct, be honest. And then say, on the flip side, as a parent, I want you to be there, and I want us to be there and do our best for the kids and put the kids first. So if you have trouble with that, we might have to get someone in between to see, because I do not want to have any contact with you. My account was private for 3 months, making it public to show my improvement and my physical change, to show her what she's walked away from. It's not an ego boost, more or less showcasing my genuine improvement. Well, good for you if you feel good about it. One-legged pigeon, peace out. Kyle Reynolds, I felt that, Luna, bro. It's part of my closure. Actualizes the fact that she's walking away despite the changes and makes it easier to accept. Okay. Very good afternoon, Dylan. I hope you're well, buddy. Everyone, how's it going? The Tassie Devil. Come to join the fun. Mr. Doc, advice for no contact or North Carolina? If there was death in the family, like parents or siblings, should you break it then? That's a good question. People do ask me that question. I think if your intentions are 100% to show condolences, to show a sign of loss, then yes, you can break it for that reason. If your intentions are, yeah, I want to reach out to them, but deep down inside, I'm hoping that it leads to something. And some people told me, yeah, actually, if I do contact them, because it just has to be about the condolences for their lost loved one. If you're leading with integrity and you're being a good human, fine. There was a guy that contacted me after a live coaching session. It was like 3 or 4 months later. He was already dating a new girlfriend. And his ex lost their dog, and their dog was a big part of their family. He loved that dog. He's like, look, I really want to just tell her how's her dog going. And she left on a bad note. She was really nasty in some ways. And I said, look, same thing with good intentions. If you want to say something, but don't expect her to be friendly or kind in the reply. So depending on how your breakup went, it's not necessarily going to guarantee that you're going to get on that person's good side, because their emotions are going to be high if they lost a loved one, and they might take it the wrong way. Bottom line is, if you lead with good intentions and the idea, hey, I just wanted to give you condolences, thoughts, and prayers with your family. I was really sorry to hear about your sister or your friend or this. And then that's it. You're not leading that as a way to get in good with them. Does that make sense, Mr. Doc? And then whatever they say back or however they reply, it wasn't your intention. Your intention is just to let them know that I was sorry to hear about that. If you have any other feeling where you're feeling, yeah, well, she didn't even answer me back after I gave that condolence, well, then your intentions weren't just to give the condolences. And the thing that the guy did, Mr. Doc, I don't know if you're religious or not. This guy said he went to church, and he goes, rather than call her and create drama because she really was unhappy, and I goes, I'm starting to date someone new. He goes, I just said my own prayer for the dog, which sounds kind of funny, but I thought, great idea, dude. He said, I went and said my own prayer for the dog and gave her my love through that way. So, and he said he felt good about it. So you could do both, right? Actually, if you wanted to. So you never lose when you do things with good intentions and you do things out of a humanitarian outlook, right? You're not going to go, oh, I should have never sent my condolences when she lost her uncle. You're not going to regret that. As long as it's not some covert way of you trying to hook up again. That's not good. Sabina, how you doing? Brand new Skinner's, late, but that's okay. Thumbs up on the video. Thank you so much. Makes perfect sense. So I hope that helps you, Mr. Doc. If you have a story you want to share, send it into writemac.com. I'll give you my take. Why doesn't my ex miss me? Well, after what happened between, I think she hates me for the way I ended it, and especially for the way I contacted her now many years ago. Notice that you're using the word I think. I think means I'm not sure. I sent flowers when I heard my ex's dad passed away. I think that that's nice, Mary. You know, down the road, if an ex I had, I heard about something, I definitely would contact them in a text or an email or something like that. I wouldn't be over the top. I would just be direct and just show them that I care, and I feel for them because I've lost loved ones in my family. I think it's a nice thing to do. In the past, I've sent a peace lily addressed to a family to the funeral home. Yeah. Again, no intentions of anything but just condolences. What's the other word you'd say? Doing very good, thanks. But just condolences. What's the other word you'd say? Doing very good, thanks. New week is starting. How are you, Mac? I'm excellent. Thanks for asking. This month I'll be doing a live stream every day around the same time because I have the time. Sometimes my schedule changes a little bit, but even today it was kind of funny because last 2 days, which I think corresponds with the weekend, we only had 8 or 9 people on, but today we started out with 28, 25. So like the famous lyrics from the great band Linkin Park, I tried so hard and I got so far. In the end, it doesn't even matter. That's a great song. I cried, begged, and apologized for my end in the breakup. Mac, do you just do statement analysis on that guy? Statement analysis on that guy. I don't know what you mean by that question. Mac, do you just do statement analysis on that guy? Who are you talking about? Fun Sawa. I know that I tried to fix things down the road. I know that I'll set in her. I think is it when people say I think, and I do it too. It's very different than saying I believe or I know. And when you say I think to a statement that doesn't serve you, then you should reframe it. Statement analysis. Yeah. Thanks, Rob. I'll check it afterwards. And Dylan's a good dude. It's mad how I'd apologize every day yet hardly did anything wrong. Being a teacher for years, having students come late to class and different things, and you talk to the student afterwards, and you talk to the student afterwards, and I used to be late for work sometimes at different jobs, but I would know what was accepted. Like some jobs, if you're 10, 15 minutes late, it's not a big deal, and so I would know that. But what I have noticed, it's a bad habit. But students would come in, oh, sorry, sorry, sorry. It's like, you said sorry. This is the fifth time you said sorry for coming in late. Do you want to just change your habits? But saying sorry multiple times does not erase or make it more powerful. It actually makes it weaker and less genuine. You have to apologize when you really mean it. To know I put in effort to fix my words is enough for me to get a dust off myself and move to the personal journey of mine. Yeah, stop apologizing. It's certainly not attractive. Oh, well, thanks, Arceli. I'm glad they helped you out a lot. I appreciate it. Do you have a favorite video that really helped you out? Maybe you don't remember the title, but the thing. Everyone seems to really like the one where I said, "Give me a sign." Tasmanian Devil alert. Yeah, it shows that you care and you don't need it to talk, because sometimes it's hard to tell people. To be honest, I don't give a honest miss her care about me. I got myself blocked for contacting her stupid way. Didn't stop thinking of my own fault. Okay. Have a good evening. Catch you guys later. You too. Have a good evening. Haha, I'm long way developed on since she's getting nothing from me. Be good. I won't. You're funny. You're funny. I rarely ever apologize. Well, I mean, it's just, if you're going to apologize, make sure you're apologizing for something you're sorry for. That's all. Only when I know it's legit. Yeah. If you make a mistake, mistakes and accidents are different. Someone, oh, it was an accident. No. If it's a mistake and it's out of character, then you can apologize. If it becomes part of your identity, that something you do regularly, then it's who you are. Man, that Give Me a Sign video hit hard. Why would they block that? I would say that's one video that most people that do live coaching sessions come back to me for. I do apologize when needed, manners first. 14 likes. This is a good live stream. Appreciate it. Any closing questions? I'm getting hungry here, and I didn't put a water next to me today. I'm getting a little parched. 116. Any closing questions? This has been good. Thanks, Sabina. It's good that you popped in. Rob, what's up, Mike? Mikey Mike? Most exes don't care, says the great Mike. Hope you're well, bud. This is late for Mike, huh? You're on the East Coast, too. Just caught the tail end of this one. Any questions? Hey, it's late for Mike, huh? You're on the East Coast, too. Just caught the tail end of this one. Any questions? Hey, Mac, any tips to post on my social media to get me out there, attention-wise? You're probably asking the wrong person about that. I'm not a social media expert. I would say just got to put the gym. Yeah, if you're doing well right now, you're happy with your body and the way you look, and you're doing things honestly instead of creating some bullshit narrative, some theater you're creating on your social media, be doing the things. It would be nice if someone says, "Oh, I saw you on social media. You were at the beach last week and you look like you're having a good time," and it's true. I don't know what happened to EG. That's a good question. A sincere apology doesn't have an excuse with it. Yeah, that's true. Christine D. Sometimes I almost wish my ex would explicitly not care. He broke up with me, but it was my birthday yesterday, and he got me a bunch of expensive gifts last week and yesterday. What's that about? I don't know, Christine. Send your full story into writemac.com, and I can give you a better take. But it sounds like he misses you or wants to revisit the relationship, or he feels guilty about something. Is it out of character for him to get expensive gifts, or is that who he is? Some guys are like that. Raid, go to the gym, research all the vids. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff on the gym. Mac, go get some water. No, I'm just going to, you seem sharp, Mac, a true gentleman. Thanks, buddy. The 3 Ps, purpose, production, principle. I haven't heard the 3 Ps before, but I like them. Mike's cool dude, man. I like Mike's take. During the rest of my time in high school, I wondered if she did miss me. I was desperate to talk to her a few times, but I didn't think it would be pleasant chat. Leave social media alone. Luna, follow Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary Vaynerchuk's cool. He's aggressive as fuck, huh? Gary? Did someone take a like away? I'm late. I have no excuse. I'll say sorry. Yeah, when people are late and they go, "Oh yeah, it was my friend, or it was this or that." I have a friend that's always late, and he always blames his wife. Well, mate, actually, and I'm like, you can say no sometimes. I'm trying to contribute. Skinner, you don't have to try to contribute. You don't have much to say today. It's fine. You do plenty, bro. Sometimes I only have 4 or 5 people on here in the past, and you're just dropping me lines. Christine, why don't you just ask him directly? I want to, but knowing him, he won't give me a straight answers. What are you? All right, Christine, what are you chasing? Do you want him back? Was the relationship good? Do you want to get back together? Do you like the idea that he gave you gifts? Write out your full story and send it in, and I'll do a public response. Oh yeah, 120 here. 120. This was good, folks. This was a really good live stream today. I enjoyed it. I almost was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just do it in the afternoon. And I said, you know what? I'm going to stay consistent. People are on deck here. Sep dropped, Gloves dropped in. Mary, as always. Rob IS. Tommy Willis. We've got ourselves a little tribe here. A little tribe. It's nice. 251 here. How's the weather over there, Mac? It's excellent. It's been beautiful today. If he's a man and not a man-child, he should be able to communicate. Yep. Top X has an awesome sense of humor in his videos. Topic X? Oh, I don't know that one. He does that British accent we talked about the other night, Mac. It's 5 a.m. here, so safe to say my sleeping schedule is pooped. Sounds like it. Okay, I'll write my story. Thank you, Coach. Yeah, that's probably the best thing to do. And look at the directions. Way to go, Christine. Welcome to the team. When you ask just a question and look at the directions. Way to go, Christine. Welcome to the team. When you ask just a question, I can give you an answer, but knowing your story and then giving a review. I can give you an answer, but knowing your story and then giving a review like that's totally different. Christine, you send the gifts back to him. You got to know what you want, Christine. That's the, well, why is he doing this? What do you want? Where's your power? What do you want in the situation? Do you want him to give you gifts? Do you want to get back together? Do you want to go no contact? Do you never want to talk to him again? These are the things you got to go through. I'm on deck almost every stream. I always forget to post shit. Reads. Seth drop gloves. Right on, bro. Yeah, you like Alan Watts like I do. Alan Watts is boss, and you're a Raiders fan too. The Raiders, the Oakland Raiders. Can't believe they're moving to Vegas. Al Davis's Raiders. Mac, do you think some people find it harder to accept an ex's apology if the ex doesn't want to get back together? Do you think people find it harder to accept an ex's apology if the ex doesn't want to get back together? Sure. I mean, because if someone's not getting what they want, why do they care about the apology? Mary's like, what did they get you? Gifts to influence attraction. It's never been my thing. I think if you're going to do a gift, it should be thoughtful. It shouldn't be multiple expensive things. But everyone's different. Yeah, what were the gifts? What did they mean to you is a better question. Mac, do you think... Oh, I'm sorry. I already read that. Find it hard to accept. All right, Max. Thanks for the stream. Excited for tomorrow's video. Good night, folks. It's curtains. You like that one, huh? It's curtains, folks. Did that happen to you, Skinner? Do you think some people find it harder to accept an ex's apology if the ex doesn't want to get back together? Like I said, yeah, I'd reiterate that I think it is harder to accept the apology because you're still not getting what you want. I would just say thank you. It was your birthday. Man child are easy to recognize. I know I avoid all man child or woman child. All right, folks. It looks like a lot of people are cutting out, bugging out, right? Happy birthday, Christine. Well, they look at Mary. What a sweetheart. That's kind of you. Same. I work with a couple that I might have to fire in the near future. Oh man, I'd hate to be in a position where I had to fire people playing video games at work. Fire them. Good stream. Good stream. I didn't want to accept my ex's apology when she said no to wanting to be friends, but I knew I had to respect her choice. Well, good for you, Dylan. You're a good man. You're good people. That's why you're on this live stream, right? All right, folks, I'm going to end it on that note. We got 15 still on Dick. I appreciate you guys. If you have a story you want to share, send it into writemac.com if you'd like to do a live coaching session. I don't know why I'm doing this Twitch right now. I remember a part of me feeling iffy about my ex's apology because she didn't mention anything about reconciliation. Well, she was Skinner just to yeah, that's a no, Rob. She was doing the apology for her, not for you. Does that make sense? She wanted to apologize to make herself feel better, not to get back together. And so for you, what did you get out of it? You were thinking, okay, I forgive you so you feel better, but I still kind of wanted you to come back to me. And that's why it's a little bit bittersweet in some ways, right? Because it didn't produce what you wanted. Does that make sense, Skinner? I might have to okay with the HR, which is not always easy. Yeah, that's funny. I was okay with not getting back together because I was indifferent about it at the time. But I was like, you said what I did. Well, it was like you said, what did I get out of it? Basically, what you got out of it, Skinner, is the ability to put that other person at ease and be the bigger person and actually do something that wasn't all about you. So in the long haul, if you cared about her, you actually put her mind at ease that you forgave her. Accepting someone's apology and forgiving them is a gift, right? Think about that. If the shoe was flipped on the other foot, Skinner, and you went to them without wanting to get back together, the forgiveness is the gift. And giving a really good gift feels good. So look at it that way, Skinner, possibly. See you tomorrow. That's the language of love. Have a good night, Mac. You too. Curtains. I'm going to end it.